Monday. Another fine episode with my co-host, Xavier. Xavier, I must say, I'm loving that retro logo hat. Where can I get myself one of them, and how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I don't really remember where I bought this. I think I might have got it off lids.com, but yeah, I love this hat, man. I've been waiting to break it out. Finally got it in the mail a couple days ago.
I do like the retro logo. I mean, personally, I wouldn't be against bringing it back. What do you think?
Hey, man. I wouldn't be against bringing out maybe some throwback jerseys every now and then.
Certainly. Today's show, we are going to start with. Oh, that's me just throwing my phone about. Ignore that. We're going to start with the 2021 draft order. I will have a quick run through 1 to 32. If you know this already, you probably won't want to listen, so just bear with us. At number 1, as we know, the Jags. 2, the Jets. 3 is now San Francisco from the Miami trade, from Houston via Miami trade. 4, Falcons. 5, Bengals. 6, the Dolphins from Philadelphia. 7, Detroit. 8, Panthers. 9, Broncos. 10, Cowboys. 11, Giants. 12, Eagles from the trade. 13, Chargers. 14, Minnesota. 15, Pats. 16, Cardinals. 17, Raiders. 18, Dolphins again. They're doing really well picking up first-round picks at the minute. 19, Washington. 20, Chicago. 21, Indianapolis Colts. 22, Titans. 23, Jets. New York Jets from the Seahawks. 24, Steelers. 25, Jags from Los Angeles. 26, Browns. 27, Baltimore. 28, New Orleans. 29, Green Bay. 30, Buffalo. 31, Kansas City. And 32, Tampa Bay. Xavier, a lot of teams with 2 picks in this first round, but the teams who do have 2 picks in this first round really do need them. Anything you see, any big shocks on opening night, shall we say?
That's a good question. The biggest shock I think we'll see, or the biggest possibility of a shock I think we'll see, will come with the 3rd pick. And that just depends on what Kyle Shanahan wants to go towards, because there's been a little controversy here recently I saw on Twitter. Of course, Kyle Shanahan and them, they want to go to prospects camps. They want to see them throw, find out how good they are. A lot of people say, the pro day doesn't make or break a prospect. There's a multitude of games you can look over. You can see how people play, but the biggest thing I saw, though, was Shanahan and company went to Alabama's pro day instead of going to Ohio State. So they didn't go look at Justin Fields on their pro day. They went and looked at Mac Jones. So that's pretty interesting. I was pretty interested in that. I don't know. I don't think that they're going to take Mac Jones. I still think they're going to take Justin Fields with that 3rd pick.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a little weird, Why even go look at Mac Jones? Mac Jones, nobody's putting him as a top 3 pick. Why even go look at him? There just some flags there. Interesting to see what they'll do.
We have a viewer. We usually have a couple. We have the esteemed Lawrence Owen watching. He's just saying, "What's going on, guys?" Lawrence, nice to see you watching, mate. Appreciate it as always. Yeah, I did see a lot of the Kyle Shanahan talk, and like we say, pro days. I mean, the first pro day I remember as a fan was watching Andrew Luck throw it 72 yards, I think it was, on his Stanford pro day, which skyrocketed. I can't say that. Which boosted his draft stock massively, I think. Yeah, Lawrence is saying hi, Xavier, asking how you're doing. And
how you doing, Lawrence?
Me, just quickly, I'm going to plug my own stuff. But me, Lawrence, and Michael Therese of the Colts Brawl did a show on Saturday. Go and check it out. It's a good show. It's a banger. So the draft, I mean, personally, as a Colts fan, what are you hoping for from this first round, this opening night?
Preferably tackle or edge. It's just what I want.
Yeah. Anyone in particular? I know you're like breaking down your guys. I know you're a big fan of. Oh God, who is it? I remember you said his name, but I can't remember.
Rousseau.
Yes, that is it. Who, as I saw on Twitter, the Colts do have representatives at Gregory Rousseau's Pro Day.
Yeah. As we should. Gregory Rousseau is one of the most athletically gifted defensive ends I've seen in a long time. I also think Jalen Phillips from Miami as well, the guy that played counter to him, or well, he sat out this season, but the guy that played left end this year for them was really talented as well. He's a big, fast, 6'5", 280 guy, moves really well, has really good bend. And if he developed into a player that I think he could, he could be really good for us for the next 10 years. He could possibly be like a Robert Mathis replacement.
Oh, that's a big claim. That's a big claim. I mean, I like it, and if we get him, and if it's anything like that, I'll be coming thanking you. But that is a big claim. I'd love that. Let's talk about the big talking point of the draft is quarterbacks. Obviously, what I can see, teams in the top 8, I would say, maybe excluding Miami, need a quarterback. So I reckon the Jags, the Jets, San Fran, Falcons. Oh, sorry, maybe not the Bengals as well. Detroit and Carolina. I reckon they all need a quarterback. So does that mean all the big names are going off the board before we even get to 10? Or, I mean, could you see, a couple of different ones going?
I mean, I could see definitely the top 4 going off in the top 10. It still remains to be seen. Again, I personally don't think Mac Jones is like top 10 guy. It's just not where I think he is. I think he has a few too many limitations to be that guy to get drafted up there. But I do think we will see NDSU's quarterback Trey Lance. I think we'll see him go in the top 10 to either Carolina or are the Broncos in the top 10 or are they top 12?
I think I'll double check. They are, so they're 9th.
Yeah. I really, if one of them guys are available, either Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, or not Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, or NDSU's Trey Lance, I really feel like we could see one of them, the Broncos take one of them guys. Because I was a big advocate for Drew Lock last season, and I understand he got injured, but when he came back, I didn't see a lot of things I really liked from him. He didn't show them traits that would say this guy is our franchise quarterback. And again, I really wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos went in that direction.
Lawrence is saying, I don't know if the Giants can go with QB in the draft. They might try and build an O-line around Danny Jones.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, they need to. Daniel Jones, I mean, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning have personally said, go after Daniel Jones. What draft did he go in? Was it last year's or the year before?
The year before, I believe.
He was quite a big upset for the pick when he, I can't remember who was in the draft with him. I'll have a quick look. Bear with me. What draft class was he in? Believe it or not, it's actually quite high to the QB draft class. I've done prep before, shouldn't I? But,
he went with Kyler Murray, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. For some reason, Wikipedia doesn't recognize Daniel James of the New York Giants. But yeah, he was quite high up. And, when other better quarterbacks, you would say, at the time were available, Peyton Manning said, no, you stick with this guy. If Peyton Manning turns around and says, stick with a guy, you stick with the guy, right? And you build around him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else is there to talk about the draft, really? I mean, can you see any blockbuster trades on the night happening? Maybe San Francisco getting rid of Jimmy G.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's a few teams that I feel like would really take a shot on Jimmy G.
Mm-hmm.
One possibly being the Patriots. Now, it would remain to be seen if the Patriots would give up their first round pick for him. Again, like I said, I think NDSU, everyone that's the top 4 quarterbacks are probably gone. It's hard to say. It's hard to say in that scenario. Well, hold on. Lawrence said something. Drew Lock had a ton of talent around him last year. Did not step to the plate. I agree. Time to look elsewhere. Yeah, I got to say, man, Drew Lock, as cool as he is, he seems like a really cool guy. Seems like he wants to be a leader. Seems like he, and it seems like he has a good locker room presence. Like the people around him actually like Drew Lock. But, people can like you as much as they want whenever you're not performing, whenever you're not developing the players around you, especially when you got a guy like, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, who's actually a really good, talented young tight end. Like you said, it might be time to move on from that player.
Now, I mean, one team that hear me out on it, because this is, I've had a couple of drinks and this has just come to my head. So if it sounds crazy, let me know. But one team that are in desperate need of recouping some first-round picks are the Houston Texans. Obviously, it's quite an ugly breakup with Deshaun Watson and all that's going on. But if all that gets cleared and it comes out it was a load of trash, a team sitting at 3, San Francisco, with Jimmy G, could possibly look at offloading Jimmy G to Texans, because that 3rd-round pick, is another quarterback for the Texans who they could, bring in as well as Jimmy G. Or they might see a different talent there. Does that sound crazy, or is that something that could happen?
No, that's absolutely feasible. You could see them any day of the week just, shoot an offer over to the Texans. That's it. That's if all this stuff is cleared up by draft night, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's always that could happen. It seems like the New York Jets are going to stick with Darnold for the season. From what I've seen anyway, because I fully expected Darnold to be an Indianapolis Colt this year. So does that mean Justin Fields it's pretty much a banker that Trevor Lawrence is going 1. If not, it would definitely go 2. So does that mean Justin Fields, Trey Lance could possibly fall? I might see a bit of an Aaron Rodgers situation.
Yeah, if the Jets don't decide to take a quarterback, we could see them top 4 guys possibly stretch into the 12 to 15 area.
Yeah.
Which, I hope doesn't happen. I don't want to see Bill Belichick get a hold of any of the top 4 guys in this class. Hell, maybe not even Mac Jones, really, is what he could do.
Mm-hmm. Lawrence said, Texans would demand 3 first-rounders. We wouldn't expect nothing less for Deshaun Watson. But until the controversy is over, no one will make a move for him. That's exactly right. Football's a business, and nobody wants bad business. And if that didn't get cleared up and it turns out it was true, that would be bad business. So, it's an interesting night. I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to every draft. And the Colts are we're not in a very good position, but like Chris Ballard said, we're never going to be number 1 pick with him in charge. So I'm okay where we are, because I think it's too far to draft back. So for once, us Colts fans are actually going to have something to watch on the first night. I'm not just going to be tired for no reason at the end of it. It's looking. Who are we looking at as the big winners of this draft? It's got to be Miami, right? Because I don't know how he's done it. Flores, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, he seems to have picked up every other first-round pick for the next 5 drafts or something. A bit crazy. So,
hey, Flores is a damn good coach too, man. Miami's got a bright future over there.
Yeah. From Lawrence, I really think the Jets should trade back multiple times and gather a ton of picks to build around Darnold. But it's the Jets, and who knows? Anything the Jets should do, they don't do. They like to. They'd probably take a kicker or something, or a special teamer at number 2 overall, knowing the Jets. But hey, that's our guy over there now, Nick Sirianni. Did he go Philly or the Jets? I can't remember which one went where.
Oh, Sirianni went to Philly, yeah.
Yeah, Sirianni went to Philly. Yeah.
But yeah, the Jets as it sits right now, I feel like they would be in a much better scenario if they did keep Darnold. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but I mean, I've done a lot of film work on Darnold. Like, I've watched a lot of his games, and to be honest, he makes a lot of throws, just off-balance throws, scrambling out of the pocket. He was one of the most pressured quarterbacks in the league last year. That's without being said. The only knocks people really have for him are his availability and stuff like that. But, it's hard to be available when you're at the bottom of a dog pile the majority of your snaps. It's tough. It really is tough. You can't really make that excuse either sometimes because you have guys like Joe Burrow, but Darnold was really never on Joe Burrow's level. No one ever really considered him there, but Darnold could be a very good quarterback in the right system. But it remains to be seen, will their new head coach, Salah, will he keep him? Because Salah's came out and said, he really likes that guy. He really likes Darnold.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing about Sam Darnold is he's only 23 years old, and he's been in the league 3 years already. So he's only, he's been in the league since he was 20.
Yeah, young guy.
And people talk about him as if he's been around for, like he's 27, 28, and he's getting towards the Jacoby Brissett end of his career. This guy is still, by all means, a rookie and a kid, So I think it'd be unwise to write Sam Darnold off as a good, better quarterback than what he is without letting somebody try and build around him. If somebody builds a good team around him and he's still seeing ghosts or whatever it was, then yeah, okay. Let's talk about Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, we're more connected to them now because of the trade. They are picking 12th overall, so arguably too far down to get a decent quarterback. What do they do in this? I mean, they've got Jalen Hurts, but as we've seen, being the drafted quarterback is not in any way make your seat safe in Philadelphia. So what do you see Philadelphia doing?
That's a good question. They just moved back to 12. If a guy like NDSU's quarterback, I can never remember his name off the top of my head. I don't know why I can't do it. I've said it 4 times this stream already, but if a guy like him would fall in that scenario, yeah, maybe. Maybe they pick him up. But, the way Jalen Hurts played last year, he had that one first game that was really good. He had a couple other games where he showed flashes of being good, but he was using his mobility a lot. He wasn't really showing me too much out of the pocket. But he looked decent, though. Don't get me wrong. He did look like a quality quarterback. He looked like a guy that could come in there and play. So, this next year, whenever their offensive line's healthy, they get Brandon Brooks back. Lane Johnson's going to be healthy. That whole right side, I mean, absolutely studded. It's like a Hall of Fame right guard and right tackle right there, especially Lane Johnson. He's a beast.
Yeah. Question from Lawrence. Sorry. How high on the priority list is wide receiver for the Colts, in your opinion?
It's up there. It's definitely up there, especially with how our room's looking right now. Question marks with T.Y. Hilton. I feel like once you do edge player, I have it set where edge is number 1 for us right now, where we have a lot of question marks. Kamoko Toure, guys like that have to step up and perform for sure. But that's probably my number 1. Number 2 is either left tackle or wide receiver. And the reason I put them together is because a lot of people are saying, well, we need a left tackle now. We need a left tackle now, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't think that. We got 3 guys in our offensive line that are all pro level. Braden Smith, Ryan Kelly, Quentin Nelson. we could bring in a guy that's a younger guy, put him at left tackle, and just being with this star-studded offensive line, he could be kind of hidden until he develops into this system. We don't necessarily have to get that day one guy at left tackle to guarantee us that he's going to play well. We could get someone in there that's a little raw that we could develop.
Yeah. So looking through the draft, there isn't any really other, big positions looking at it from a Colts fan's perspective. I mean, our rivals, the Titans, are drafting one behind us. They might. Could you see the Titans maybe trying to leapfrog us as a bit of like mind games?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. They took Danico Autry for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
They're really lacking in the edge rushing department. Now, do I think Danico Autry is going to be that fix? Absolutely not. I mean, you're going from having Jadeveon Clowney, who is one of the best edge run-stopping defenders on the edge in the league, and a proficient pass rusher, to getting Danico Autry, who, like Clowney, is a good run stopper, but he's not Clowney. He doesn't get after the quarterback like Clowney. He doesn't stop the run like Clowney. But he does his job. He does what he's supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of the team I am interested in is, the Chargers. They've got Justin Herbert to help out next season. But how do they help him out? Do they go and get a weapon? Do they go and get a lineman? Do they go and get some defensive help? They're drafting at 13.
Yeah, I think their offensive line, I think they're guaranteed to pick that. I think their offensive line was ranked, 31st last year or somewhere around there. Yeah, they were struggling. Just to put it lightly, they were struggling. That's where I think I projected Slater to go there. I may have had him going earlier, but I believe that's where I had Slater going, was 13 to the Chargers.
Yeah. I think that's all I have on the draft. Do you have anything else on the draft you want to throw out?
Not in particular, no.
Right. Okay. Moving on. I can't remember what else we said it was going to do. I mean, we'll talk about the top 5 QBs. I know you messaged me saying that. Did you mean QBs of all time or QBs coming into this draft?
Yeah, I was talking about QBs of all, or no, not of all time, coming into the draft. But I mean, if you want to talk about the top 5 QBs of all time, I mean, I'm game, man.
I mean, I'm up for doing it. I mean, I'm guessing we both got the same for number 1.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady or Peyton. Well, Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. I kind of put them interchangeable, but.
But as you're a Colts fan, it's Peyton Manning and Tom Brady is a lying cheat. Well, no, okay. So top 5 QBs. You can go first.
Okay, so number 1, I'm going to go. Like I said, I'm going to go Tom Brady / Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was a top 5 defense away from being a Super Bowl champion, probably on a multitude of occasions. Just like Tom Brady. Tom Brady always had that top 5 defense. Peyton Manning wasn't as fortunate as Tom Brady. But you could say that about a lot of quarterbacks. You say that about Aaron Rodgers. You can say that about Drew Brees. Well, I mean, kind of not Drew Brees. Drew Brees kind of had that all the time. But Aaron Rodgers especially. I mean, there's a few guys you can say that. But what Peyton Manning displayed as a quarterback was just excellence in everything. It was the mastering of a craft. It was, footwork, to the studying of film, to understanding how defense is going to react to every single move you make. I mean, it was perfection. You can say the same thing about Tom Brady, but with Peyton Manning, it was like when you watched him, it was just amplified. It was like every single thing he did had a reason behind it, whether it was a mind game, whether it was a fake call, anything and everything Peyton Manning could use to get an advantage, he would against the defense. But number 2, a lot of people probably ain't going to like this, but I got Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Yeah.
Or, well, I guess 3. It's 1-1-3. I got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is kind of like, to me, this guy that came in and he changed the league. Like every new quarterback nowadays looks like Aaron Rodgers. If you want a good guy, like Justin Herbert is somewhat like Aaron Rodgers, the ability to move out of the pocket, throw, make these crazy throws. Patrick Mahomes, like it's why everyone fell in love with him. I think it's just he's kind of like a spitting image of Aaron Rodgers. Now, some of the plays they make are a little bit crazier. You got Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, guys like that. But yeah, he's just kind of Aaron Rodgers just dominated the league year in, year out, game in, game out for his whole career, and only has one Super Bowl to show for it. Now that's pretty terrible. It's kind of like Peyton Manning. He had 4 appearances, but it was like everyone felt like Peyton Manning should have more rings. I feel the same way about Aaron Rodgers. Number 4, I'm going to go Joe Montana. Got to put him in there. Joe's beast. Came in and played, did a great job. 4 Super Bowls, 4 appearances, 4 Super Bowl wins, undefeated in the big game. Super clutch, and was really efficient. He didn't have bad years. He always played consistently, always did a good job, and he played in an era that was much tougher than, today's game, you should say.
Yep.
And number 5, this is a tough one. I want to put Dan Marino.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I really like Dan Marino. Big Dan Marino fan. He had no rings, but as a pure passer, the guy is just a beast. Perfect throwing motion. Always made the right throw. Always made the right read. Again, unfortunate he did not have a ring, but he did have a 16-0 season, so that means something.
Yeah. Was that 5?
Yep.
That was 5. Sorry, I was miles away. Okay, so my 5. So, I mean, how long have you been watching American football? Well, I'm guessing since you were born, but how long? Since what year, roughly?
I would say 2004.
Yeah. So, I mean, I started supporting the Colts in 2007, but I only really started watching it properly probably about 2009. So, I mean, my list will be a little bit different to yours in the fact that I've seen different things. But obviously, number 1 is Peyton Manning. I think I'd be run out of Colts Twitter if I said anything else. And I mean, for what it was with me, he's just extremely clever. He was the first quarterback I watched who I was like, this guy doesn't just throw the ball. He knows where he's going to throw the ball in 3 drives time. If you come out in cover 3, for one play, he'll remember that exact look, and the next time you do it, it's game over, and he's going to torture. Number 2 is where is he? I did write my list. It's going to be my fan favorite, and I know people are going to hate on this because of his early retirement, but it's Andrew Luck. I mean, I learned to watch football watching the Colts the Colts with T.Y. Hilton and Andrew Luck week in, week out. It was just a magical. And a lot of people said, yeah, he never got to a big game. He choked the playoffs. Well, I don't care. This is my list, and I'm a big fan. So that's it. Number 3. Who else other than Michael Vick? I mean, don't need to say any more. Just revolutionized the game, you could say, in the way the position is played. You see a lot more of it now with Cam, with Lamar, this RPO option. So it's, I think we got to throw honour to him. And number 5, I think I'm on now. Or was that number 3? That was number 3. Yeah. So number 4, Steve Young. And why he's in here is because believe it or not, Madden, I was playing the game. He was my QB on Ultimate Team. I got him in a free pack. And it was quite a meta QB on one of the older Madden Ultimate teams. Probably not anymore.
Oh, you mean Steve Young from the Titans?
Steve Young from San Fran.
No, yeah, you're right. I was thinking of Vince Young for a second. My bad.
And number 5, just fully just because of last season, Philip Rivers. What a way to fall in love with a guy, because it was nice to see him playing for us in the playoffs rather than knocking us out for once. But the trash talking, he just loves the game. And when, like you said about Aaron Rodgers only having 1 ring, look how long Philip Rivers has been in and has no rings, but he's still seen as such a great quarterback in the league. And not just because he's been in the league for 2,500 years, but because he's been a great quarterback for all that time. And again, just an extremely smart guy. So that's my top 5. I mean, it is a little bit different to yours and a little bit more Homer based, but
no, I respect it, man. Hey, I love Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning. I mean, hell, since I was a kid, I had a Peyton Manning fat head on my wall, like literally for like 8 years, And even whenever he left the Colts, I left it up for like 5 or 6 years. It just, I just stayed there. I was like, I can't get rid of this. I can't do it. I couldn't bring myself to take it down.
That do you remember that first snap? I can't remember the first Super Bowl he was in for Denver, and that snap that went over his head.
Yeah, it was just like, it's a bad omen, man.
Yeah, I was watching that like he was a Colts player. It hurt. I was watching that like, oh no. But yeah, I mean, that's our top 5 QBs all time. For anyone who watches or is watching, tell us yours, comment yours, tweet us yours. I mean, what else can we talk about? I suppose the big news for Colts fans is it seems like we are trying to re-sign Justin Houston.
Okay.
Which could eliminate the edge position in the draft. Well, it wouldn't eliminate it, but in the first round it would. Do you see that having a massive effect on the Colts' future? And is it a good move? Is it a bad move?
Well, with how we're looking right now, I can't really call it a bad move per se, because, I mean, of course, we do need an edge player. We do need people that will for sure get off the edge on 3rd down, 2nd and long, stuff like that, and get after the quarterback. It's just, for what Houston produces, I understand he had a lot of sacks, he had a lot of pressures, but it was like his run defense just kind of like just overshadowed how good of a pass rusher he was to me. Because when I'd watch him on film, anytime he was left in to get after the quarter, or anytime he was left in on a 1st and 10, he just kind of got blew off the ball. There's just a lot of times where I'd see him get moved 5 yards by guys that are mid-level tackles. They're not the best players in the league. It's just average tackles. And that's concerning. We need a guy that's going to be in there on 1st down, being able to get side to side, being able to make a play on the inside and on the outside, especially in a 4-3 in this Tampa 2. In the Tampa 2, your defensive line is huge. It is literally these guys have to perform play in, play out. That's why I love having DeForest Buckner so much, because if you think of the best Tampa 2s, which was the Buccaneers, it's when they had Warren Sapp and
the Buccaneers under Tony Dungy.
Yeah. So, when you think of that team, they had a defensive tackle that was Hall of Fame worthy. And now we got that same thing. We just need a couple guys that can get off that edge consistently and disrupt that quarterback on a more consistent basis.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know how true this is, but this could be breaking news. But apparently 3 more women have filed civil suits against Deshaun Watson.
Jeez, man.
That's now a total number of 19 lawsuits.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Obviously, in all seriousness, if it does come out to be true, you don't want that for anyone. But if it doesn't turn out to be true, nobody comes out of this looking good, right? So if it turns out to be true, the Texans have obviously kept it under wraps until now because they would have known about it. You're not telling me that something happening of that magnitude. The Texans have not had someone on Deshaun Watson telling him what to do, what to say, and stuff. If it turns out it's not true, it means the Texans have fabricated something to try and because Deshaun Watson's threatened to sit out this season, basically. So,
yeah, I've seen a few interesting things about that, man. I heard the guy that is bringing these it's bringing the allegations forward from these women is neighbors with the owner of the Texans. So, I thought that was really weird. It's a really weird coincidence, Again, I'm not going to call anyone a liar here. I'm not, you're innocent until proven guilty. It's just how it works. And I hope that is not true. According to everyone else, Deshaun Watson's a stand-up guy. I'm not a Texans fan. I don't really know the guy, but all the Texans fans say that, he's a good guy. He takes care of the community. He volunteers, stuff like that. So I truly hope that these are fabricated, but if they're not, Texans, it's time to start getting you a new quarterback because he's probably going to go away for a while.
Yeah. It's just a crazy world, isn't it? I mean, the real question is, if it has happened, how has the Texans allowed it to happen? Because, he's QB1 in a multi-million deal, number 1 overall pick at least. So for me, if they did know about it and they haven't done anything, that is worse. That is as bad as what has actually happened, because if you stand by and do nothing, then the Texans have got to be held accountable for that. But let's get back on to what we're here to actually talk about, which is football. That serious stuff is for people who actually understand rules and stuff and a bit more serious than us. So let's talk about football. The Colts, I mean, what's the game plan going forward for the Colts, in all honesty? I mean, we can say obvious things, get an edge, get a pass rush, get a wide receiver. But with Frank Reich, the numbers with him and him and Carson Wentz were not great at Philadelphia. So are you worried slightly?
I mean, of course, man, it could go bad. I mean, that's the reality. Mm-hmm. Carson Wentz truly could be this monstrous, just absolutely meltdown of a player, bad omen. I mean, Philly fans have literally drugged this man's name through the fucking mud, dude. It's horrible. If you get on Twitter, look up Carson Wentz, you will see a Philadelphia fan mad at all times. It's like 24/7. They say it's 5:00 somewhere. Well, it's hate Carson Wentz time. Hate Carson Wentz time somewhere in this world too, especially for Philly. And just some of the stuff they say, I feel like it's pretty ridiculous. Especially, I mean, management came out and said stuff about Carson Wentz. They're like, he's hard to work with, blah blah blah. Just all this stuff. And Carson Wentz didn't say a single thing back against them.
Yeah.
That tells me that this guy, it's not his fault. It's management. It's management just being unruly. And from what I've seen from them coaching the last 2 years, they've looked like garbage. Defensively, they've been all right, but offensively, it's just like there's no cohesion. There's nothing. And on top of that, he's getting sacked 50 times in 12 games. That's just not a realistic idea of where a quarterback can succeed. There's not a single quarterback in this league succeeding in that system getting sacked 50 times in 12 games. It's just not happening.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think it's fair to say both of us were not Carson Wentz's biggest fan.
Oh, no.
Before he signed for the Colts. But, you go back and you actually look at his season, and the thing is, he can throw the ball. It's been a long time. I mean, what feels like a long time since Andrew Luck, really, that we've had a quarterback who can throw the ball with power, with, get it downfield. there's one throw. I'm sure you've probably seen it because it's a highlight. He throws it into the end zone, perfectly past two defenders and straight into his quarterback's hand. Straight into his receiver's hands. And it's just, even watching the Eagles, even though they have been pretty poor, I still see stuff I like from Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I agree. There's just a lot to like about him. That's why I don't get this narrative of just Philly fans just hating on him. Like, there's so much to like about this guy. He's got mobility. He's got the arm strength. He's got the accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, to me, it couldn't be more apparent that it is the system.
Yeah.
There's been all kinds of quarterbacks in this league that are divas, as people would put it, or are, these people that are hard to work with, blah, blah, blah. And some of them are some of the most successful QBs in the league. You look at a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is known for the icy stare. Like, if his receiver drops the ball, he'll stare at you. He'll let you know it. And people don't like that. Well, Carson Wentz don't do that.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, he'll get frustrated. He'll scream on the sideline. He'll throw his helmet. But, at the end of the day, is that really that bad? For someone that wants to win, that wants to succeed, that is fighting to keep his team afloat in one of the worst conferences in the league, and that he can't seem to do it, how would you feel?
Yeah.
How would you feel? That's just how I feel about it. I got a little sympathy for him, I guess, now that he's a Colt. But, I mean, it's just hard to see that much slander on one man. It cannot be just one way like that. I don't believe it.
Well, my thing is with quarterbacks, if you're not a bit hard to work with, if you don't have a bit of an attitude, then are you a really great quarterback? I mean, you look at all the great quarterbacks. You remember last season when we played the Ravens and Jonathan Taylor fumbled it, and the absolute death stare Philip Rivers gave Jonathan Taylor was just, I could feel it all the way over here in the UK. So don't know how Jonathan Taylor felt. You look at Peyton Manning and his famed rant against Jeff Saturday, who is one of his best friends, and then comes over afterwards like, yeah, we're cool. It's fine. That's what we do. You look at, like you say, Aaron Rodgers, who's just could stare through 3 brick houses and into someone's soul. You look at Tom Brady, who is so ferocious as a competitor. You look at the was it the championship game?
Whenever Tyrann Mathieu came up to him, was like poking him and shit. Nah. Tom Brady is not that guy, bro. Get away from him. He is not that guy.
You do it to the punter. You don't do it to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But so for me, Carson Wentz throwing his helmet or staring at Doug Peterson, it just shows character to me. It just shows someone who's like, and working, let's do something. And his system's gone, no, we do it my way, or you're a bad quarterback.
Yeah. You either do it my way, or we're going to trade you, and then we're going to have all our assistant coaches talk shit about you. Yeah, get the fuck out of here, man. I'm sorry. Get the hell out of here. There's no way. And the fact that this man sat here, listened to all these assistant coaches, grill him, and then he just sits back and he's like, I have no questions to answer about that. I mean, that's just class, dude. That is literally like LeBron James level taking the high road. I don't give a shit about what you're saying. I'm going to come over here and win. Because you got to imagine, like LeBron, whenever he went to Miami, there was just millions. I mean, I couldn't even imagine being in LeBron's shoes, having to open any kind of social media and just look at what people are saying to him, And then the same thing. I mean, Philly fans, from what I understand, are pretty relentless themselves. I mean, I've never been to Philly, but from what I hear about the attitude of the city, it's bad. If you're a sports guy there and you end up having to leave on bad terms like that, I'm sure, I kind of expected that, but just not at the magnitude,
Yeah. It's crazy. I think, the way Carson's acted is he's sort of gone, That's cool. You know, you have your little rant. You shout off. You call me names. You say I'm bad. I'm just going to go back here with my mate Frank Reich. I've got Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, Naheem Hines. I've got T.Y. Hilton, the ghost T.Y. Hilton. I've got Mike Pittman, who's a stud. I've got Jack Doyle, who's a very, very good tight end. You know, I've got Quentin Nelson, the best, one of, if not the best guard in the league. I've got Braden Smith, who's an up-and-coming tackle, fantastic at his job. You know, he's just like, you guys can talk the trash. I'm quite happy here with Indy.
Yeah, I feel like that's the kind of how he feels, and especially one thing you brought up right then, which is being back with Frank Reich. That to me is just a huge thing because both of these guys, even though I'm not too religious myself, I have a lot of religious family and I have a lot of people like that, and they, you know, the bond people like that share together is very strong. And them two guys themselves, you know, they're very religious. They talked about I've heard both of them have talked about how they miss each other, blah blah blah, and they miss that bond. You know that kind of friendship, the kind of strength, quote unquote, that they share together. So it's great having them back together. Philly fans can be as mad as they want. Everyone can be as mad as they want, but the fact of the matter is, he's going to win an AFC South division title next year. You know, this might even be a Super Bowl team. It just depends on what version of Carson Wentz we get. If we get a 2018, 2017 version of Carson Wentz, we are a Super Bowl team. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there's a few people on Twitter I'm going to have to talk to about it that are Philly fans. A few people on Twitter I'm going to have to tweet at that disagree. But if we get back there, Carson Wentz has proved right. Howie Roseman, he's gone. Doug Peterson's already gone, but I'm sure Sirianni's going to do a pretty good job. He's like Frank Reich. He's kind of the Frank Reich kind of clone, so I think he'll do a fantastic job over there. But I'm just waiting. Biding my time.
It fit. I mean, we got to the playoffs with a one-legged Phillip Rivers, so a two-legged Carson Wentz. I still expect us to get to the playoffs. If we don't win the division, we'll at least get there by wild card. I can fully see that happening. But like you said, it's the thing about the religion. I'm not a religious person, but I've watched some American football films, especially the teenage ones, and Facing the Giants, I guess you've watched it.
Yeah.
It feels very like that at the minute, with the way they, Carson said they both went to the same church in Philly. They both did the same projects, outreaches. So that bond, although I don't understand it personally, can't be underestimated. I think what I'd like to talk about quickly, because we have been talking for nearly 50 minutes now, is two big extensions coming up. Leonard, Nelson, and then on the back of that, Braden Smith. And then on the back of that, Jonathan Taylor. How do we make this happen? Because they are key pieces of this team.
I think you give them what they want. I'm going to be honest here. I think when it comes to Nelson, Smith, and Leonard, them three guys, you give them their contract because they are every bit worth whatever dollar they want. Yeah. Now, that being said, Leonard, I don't know how his mentality is, but, Quentin Nelson wants to win. Braden Smith, they want to win. Both of them guys, I can see their mentality. They might not ask for too much money just because of that. People are thinking we're going to be paying Quentin Nelson this humongous contract. I don't think he's going to ask for $25 million a year. Most people understand that when you're paying a player that is not a quarterback or a receiver that kind of money, that cripples your team. Yeah. Or definitely hurts it. But if he does ask for it, as bad as it is, Chris Ballard's a beast at drafting. If we have to cut a few people that we really like to draft others and bring them in and let them play, so be it. Because Quentin Nelson, dude's maybe the best guard to ever play, and he's in his fourth year coming up, So I think we'll be good. I think we get Nelson back, we get Smith back, and we get Leonard back. Hopefully they don't take too much cap room up. But if they do, again, so be it. Best guard in the league, best linebacker in the league, and the best right tackle in the league, in my opinion. So that's three guys that are huge if we want to keep the success going, especially offensively.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add on to the end of the show?
Man, not really, man.
Not really. That's fine. I will be putting a poll out on Twitter because what me and Xavier are going to do is, well, I say me and Xavier. Xavier is going to break down players very expertly, and I'm just going to comment along blindly, pretending I know what I'll talk about. So I will put out a poll. I'll get a list of players. It could even be league players. We'll see what the Twitter people are interested in. But we'll do that sometime, hopefully coming up. Are you free for a show on Friday?
Yeah, man.
Hopefully on Friday. I have been Harrison, the UK Colts fans. Check us out on Twitter. We're nearly at 2,000. Let's get us there. Nearly at 2,000.
Yeah.
At UK Colts fans. Xavier, your tweet, your YouTube, your Instagram, whatever you want to promote, mate.
YouTube is High Octane Analysis. Twitter is at I'm the HOA. And that's it.
That's it. We have been UK Colts fans. This has been NFL Monday. We have taught draft QBs and